Hey guys, wanted to go over an easy trick to make your temperature sensor on your pellet stove a little less sensitive. A lot of these 100K temperature sensors or thermistors are really sensitive to temperature change. They'll fluctuate quite a bit. They're generally only accurate to about 2 degrees or a little less Fahrenheit anyway, so they tend to jump around in 2-degree increments. That's kind of normal. At least that's usually the resolution of the controllers or the displays that displays the temperatures that use those kind of sensors. But anyways, on pellet stoves, mine here, there's a lot of companies that use the same setup, but mine has this little temperature sensor right here, and it's really sensitive. You can blow on it, it'll change the temperature, and it comes coiled up. Some people move them around, put them a few feet away from the stove. I mean, if you're in the same room as the stove, it's always going to read a little hot anyway, because that room's always going to be hotter. But something you can do that really improves the accuracy is spend a few cents on a couple zip ties and a small piece of 1/4 inch copper tubing, often used like on refrigerators, water lines, things like that. Get it from your hardware store. They'll probably make you buy it by the foot or something, but if you have this laying around, this is an easy fix. And what we're going to do is pull the side cover off, and we're going to zip tie this tube right on the back, kind of as far away from the air intake as you can, because that's going to actually get cold in the winter. As it pulls in cold air, it'll be kind of radiating some coldness. But you want to attach it on the grate that's in the back here. I'll show you that in a second, because when the fan on the unit is running, it's sucking air through this whole case in here in the back and passing it through the firebox heat exchanger and then out the front as heated air. So the reason you want to put this in front of that grate in the back is because it will have fresh room air passing over it the whole time. And then the point of the copper tube is that it kind of slows down that reaction, right? We're gonna take this sensor and we're just gonna put it inside there. No epoxy or anything, just kind of shield it from wind, and it will be touching the copper pipe in there anyway. And this copper tube will change temperature a little more slowly than just the sensor out in the air. And so that'll kind of slow down those weird peaks that you get if you have a draft or something like that. And the fact that it's right there at that air intake, it's going to constantly have airflow going over it from the room, so it won't ramp up in heat, because it doesn't get hot back there usually because of that fresh air that's flowing. So all I'm going to do is I already removed the 3 screws from the side, and it just backs up a little bit and then lifts out. Most of you have done this when you clean. And then let's come over here. This is the grate I was talking about, and you want it on the outside because this wire is probably already running through here and going to the outside. I'm actually going to pull my sensor back so that it goes about right where I want it on the outside anyway, and then I'll zip tie these up in here. So I actually will need 3 zip ties. But let's go ahead and put this copper tube on the back. Let's see, I'm aiming for this upper corner here. And you want the tube on the outside, kind of like that, with a couple vents on each side of it, top and bottom. And let's see here. Let's do it like this first. Well, let's keep the zip tie on the inside, I guess, make it look better. I've done this for other projects and HVAC things in the past. I might be able to get away with just one zip tie. I'll use the other one for the wire. So, you can see here, I just did the zip tie on the inside, and then on the back side of my stove, it looks like that. I've got I don't know if I can get that in there, a few vent openings on each side, above and below, and then I'm just going to put this sensor midway in that tube, not sticking out the bottom like that, about midway, and that'll make it react a little slower, and once that tube gets to the room temperature, like I said, it'll take a little bit more to bring that temperature down or up. So it'll kind of average it out on the display. And then I'll take this and coil it back up. Don't want it getting near the blower down there. That's really it. You can button it back up. So here's the temperature display after the modification. You'll see it still toggles because it doesn't really show fractions and on this screen, so you'll still see it appear to jump around. But let me show you what here's my thermostat. The dining room here, I have a separate Ecobee temperature sensor in this room. So you can see the dining room where this pellet stove is. I know that sounds weird, but I'll show you a picture of that. It's 78 on the other temperature sensor. And you can see the one on the pellet stove screen is probably 77.5. My Ecobee doesn't show fractions either, so it toggles between 77 and 78, and I think the Ecobee just kind of rounds up and holds it there. So it's pretty close to the real temperature, and it's not jumping around like it was between, 3 to 5 or 4 degrees and bouncing all over the place. That little copper tube and having it on the intake of the where the room air passes by, it really helps. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Thanks for watching.